Hello, lovely friend. I am Dr. Mary Barson.
And I'm Dr. Lucy Burns.
We are doctors
and weight management and metabolic health experts.
And this is the Real Health and Weight Loss Podcast.
Good morning, lovely friend. Dr. Lucy here. I hope you're having a spectacular day. I am super excited to chat with Dr. Mary because she has been on holidays having a wonderful overseas adventure, and it has been so exciting to hear all of her stories. And today she's going to share some of them with you, and particularly around holiday mindset. So, lovely friend, how are you?
I am good. Yes, I have just returned back from a trip to Japan. I went with my kids, and I'm not a seasoned traveller. I'm really not. This is the first overseas holiday I've had in 20 years, really. So it was wonderful and exciting and tiring and hard and stressful and great and all of these things all at once. And one thing that on reflection, I think I am probably most proud of is how I was able to, by and large, have this awesome holiday and still stay on track, with my metabolic health, and not perfectly, but with intention. And doing so meant that I really did have a great time, a really joyful time, as well as a healthy time. Because certainly in the past, I would have used any kind of holiday as an excuse to just, eat whatever, do whatever, drink whatever, not worry about it. Would have this strange holiday mindset that what happens on holidays doesn't count. Or another way that I could have looked at it in the past is, if I'm not perfect, I've failed. So if I can't be perfect, I just won't even try. But, holidays really, they are still real life. They're still an extension of real life. And, for me, my approach to holidays, I want it to work into my real life. I don't want to increase my risk of type 2 diabetes. I don't want to be gaining weight. I don't want to be increasing my blood sugar just because I've been on holidays. So, yeah, that's kind of how I went into it, but not being a seasoned traveller and certainly having never been to Japan before, I didn't really know what to expect. But what we do, Lucy, what we talk about, it's a really it's just a flexible framework. Prioritizing your protein, keeping your carbohydrates low, not snacking too much. All of these things meant that I had a pretty easy framework to work with, and it was fun. Our approach to metabolic health, the way that our programs work with my metabolic action plan, what we do, it doesn't need specific foods or specific rules or perfect conditions, and it doesn't have to fall apart when life is stressful, when life is busy, on weekends, at weddings, or on holidays. So yeah, I am proud of that.
Oh, well done. Well done. And I think there's lots of things about holidays that we have mindset around. And some of that, again, has probably come from childhood, where all of a sudden you're not going to school, you're on holidays, there's parents are not working, so there's more, fun activities. You're going to, the zoo, picnics, there's more foods involved. There's all just this whole treat mindset, which is not to say that you can't have any of that feeling, any of those, and I'm using air quotes, treats, but it's about not necessarily going all in just because it's a holiday and going, right, well, everything I ever do, I'm just doing the opposite now because, I'm on holidays. So, I'm on holidays, so I'm going to eat Cocoa Pops for breakfast, and I'm on holidays, so I'm going to have McDonald's for lunch, and I'm on holidays, so I'm going to have, 3 glasses of wine every day. Like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah. There's this added layer of challenge for me is that I went with my beautiful sister, her hubby, my gorgeous niece, and my 2 beautiful kids. And we had quite a lot of fussy eaters in that group. Me and my sister weren't, but, to varying degrees, everybody else was. So there was this added layer of complexity. And I did not navigate child nutrition as well as I wanted to while on holidays, but I didn't do too badly either. But another thing that the fussy kids did is that they just sort of forced us to put food as sort of second fiddle. The food wasn't the star of the show for me and my sister on this holiday because it kind of couldn't be. We needed to accommodate these kids who wouldn't eat ramen, and although we did get them to try it, they wouldn't eat sushi, though we did get them to try it, you know, all of these beautiful, amazing foods. Like Japan has such a beautiful food culture. We couldn't sort of just do whatever we wanted. So we had to work around that. But that was okay. You know, food doesn't need to be the most exciting part of your day, especially when you're traveling.
No.
But having said that, we still did really well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting, and this is a sort of little side note, that Japan has one of the lowest rates of obesity in the world, and that Novo Nordisk, the makers of GLP-1s, are not marketing there because there is no market for their product there. And
I absolutely found that looking around, it was quite noticeable. Yeah.
Yeah, when I read The Magic Pill, which is the Johann Hari, not the Pete Evans documentary, but the Johann Hari book, which is really on his experience with the GLP-1s and researching across the world various other societies. He went to Japan and looked at what they're doing. And for them, they really do embody that obesity and our rates of obesity are a systemic problem, not a personal failing. So Japan has put into place many systems that support people to navigate food environments in a way that is going to set up their metabolic health, which is really unique and not seen in many other countries, certainly not in Australia and most certainly not in America.
Yes, yes. And I'm sure it's multifactorial there, but there is such a culture there's a big culture of walking. It's just a huge part of what they do. I walked, 20 to 25,000 steps a day, although the real tragedy of this story is that my fitness ring just wouldn't charge, and so none of my steps were counted. So all those steps were uncounted. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm over it. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a bit sad.
It's all right. I believe you.
Yeah, that's right. I can't prove to anyone. But yeah, and there's just so much healthy food everywhere. Convenience stores were amazing. I just ate so much food from 7-Elevens and Family Marts, etc. As they have beautiful fresh food, salads, just boiled eggs, just cheese, beautiful meats and steamed veggies, just all these things that you can buy. And that was fantastic. So my kids were in Japan and I was mostly feeding them, cheese and broccoli from convenience stores. But, it was fine. They were eating it. It wasn't, I certainly wasn't focused on the food that much. I wasn't focused on being perfect, and I certainly did do some things like my niece showed me this Insta-famous mochi store in Kyoto where they sell this Japanese dessert, mochi, which is made with some short grain glutinous rice flour that's steamed and pounded, and it's all sort of chewy and sticky, and they put fruits and bean paste and stuff in it, and it's sweet and it's tasty. And I went there and with this big crowd of people enjoyed this extremely famous mochi, and that was great. I did that, it was fine, and I felt absolutely fine about it. But I didn't then feel the need to find mochi and eat it absolutely every single day.
No, and I think that's the key, isn't it? That's sort of a little bit of what we would call scarcity mindset that people will sometimes have, where you think, oh, I'm in Japan, I have to have all the Japanese desserts because I'm here, and I'm not coming back for however long. But, particularly in Australia, I'm pretty sure mochi places, you can buy mochi in Australia. You can buy it, and if you really wanted to, you can order it. Like, you can buy anything, anytime, anywhere these days. So the idea that you can only have it because you're here is not actually true. It doesn't mean that you can't have it as part of the cultural experience. And I think that's fine. If you go to France and you decide you want to eat a macaron because you're in France, or a baguette because you're in France, you can do that because, you're the boss of you.
Tarte du chocolat.
Yeah. all of those things are, of course, available every day in Australia and in varying qualities and quantities. But what we also want to do is just be, again, just back to that mindfulness of, yep, this is what I'm going to do, but I don't have to go all in and have it every single day. There have been many times where I've gone on holidays in the past, depending on the length of the holiday, gained significant amounts of weight. So I went to Europe for 6 weeks and came back 10 kilos heavier, which is just not ideal. It's just not ideal. It's not good. You know, we know that yo-yoing is not helpful for many reasons. When you gain weight, you don't gain muscle, it's just all fat. When you lose weight, you often lose muscle and fat. So that the up and down is less than ideal. Small amounts of weight fluctuation is normal, and, you know, a couple of kilos here and there is manageable, but it's the significant weight gains that come from doing things like I used to do, which is in my head, there was this little secret voice going, yay, you're allowed to eat whatever you want. And just this sort of like, I don't know, it was like the gates were open and I was free, and I'd just go literally all in. And yeah, I don't need to do that anymore.
No. And Lucy, do you still enjoy your holidays?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, unpacking all sorts of mindsets. And I don't know if you stayed in hotels, Mez, but a mindset I used to have intensely on holidays was particularly if that was food included. So if there was a buffet breakfast included, all in, eat as much as get your money's worth.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
I know. I've never been on a cruise, but I know cruise ships are the same. It's, you know, the food's all included. So people are just all in there doing a Homer Simpson at the buffet breakfast, getting their money's worth. Yeah.
That's right. There was buffet breakfasts, and no, I didn't do that. But I did see it as a cool opportunity to try new, Japanese breakfasty things. Some of which I liked, and some of which I found quite difficult. Natto, oh man! Apparently, I was eating it wrong. The fermented soybeans. I met a lovely Japanese woman. It was in Tokyo, and she explained to me that I was supposed to beat it and mash it and mix it and do all this sort of stuff. Whereas, just a completely naive tourist, I just grabbed the beans and just ate them, and they were unpalatable. It was challenging.
I've done that with tempeh as well. Tempeh is disgusting if you don't know how to cook it properly.
It's like, I just felt this must be how Australians feel when they see people just take a big spoonful of Vegemite. It's like, well, of course it's gross,
yes.
You idiot. Like, that was me in Japan. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. It's hilarious.
I gave it a go.
Tell me, Mez, how did you navigate the plane food? Because, aeroplane food is pretty largely woeful. How'd you go?
Yeah. So I just picked around it really, but mostly just was happy to kind of fast and just not eat that much. So on the trip there, I had, this plan. So I brought jerky and nuts and yogurt and cheese for me and the kids because I just knew that they wouldn't eat the airplane food, and I was right about that. But we got to Japan and hardly any of it had been eaten, and I had to throw it all out, and that just made me feel a bit sad. So I realised I had a moment. I panicked and overcated. So coming home, I relaxed on that, bought a little bit. You could get jerky very easily in these amazing convenience stores. Bought a little bit of jerky and cheese for the kids, but just ate around it. And my kids didn't eat their food. So I had all this. I had 3 airplane meals to pick the protein out of. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
And they had little cups of fruit, melon and a few things, which, we're okay. Okay, not perfect, but okay. I'll let my kids eat the ice cream because honestly, I just couldn't be bothered preventing that in an airplane that we were on for, 12 hours. So, yeah, that's kind of how I did, but it was fine. I think that was a pretty long trip. They were all together, we were on the aeroplane for, I don't know, sort of 15 hours with the layover not included. And that strategy worked fine. I would probably just do that again.
Yeah. Back in the day where I used to eat all the aeroplane food because, it was free, I remember getting to the end of aeroplane trips and just thinking, oh, my God, more food. Because honestly, they seem to come around all the time feeding people and you don't do anything. Obviously, you're just sitting there. And, yeah, it was intense. So, yeah, you are allowed to say no. You're not actually missing out on this thing that you think you've paid for. Falls into my one of our other sayings is that there is no such thing as a free lunch, because there is literally always a cost at some level. So when your brain goes, goody, it's free food, it's not always.
No, yeah, you pay for it one way or another. Yeah. So no, I didn't feel too bad about wasting the aeroplane food. I was okay with it. Yep, went on my tray, and much of it went back again.
Perfect. Good. So, lovely friends, I think this is the thing. It's about a flexible approach. It's not about rules and rigidity. It's about extremes. So, not all or nothing, you don't have to go away on a holiday and be perfect, but you don't have to go away on a holiday and just go all in either. Trying to nourish your body so that you can have good energy levels for the holiday and do the things that you want to do is great. Lots of people do more activity on holiday with steps, as you've just discovered. There's lots of often walking and things. But by the same token, not everybody does holidays like that. Lots of people's holidays are literally just lying by the pool, aka mine. So sometimes there's less activity. So it's just about balancing and making reasonable decisions so that you don't do what, old Lucy used to do and come back 10 kilos heavier. But you don't have to be rigid and ridiculous so that you can't actually enjoy your holiday either.
Yes, that's right. And I love it. I'm just back, and there's no need for a reset. There's no need for sort of guilt, remorse, or, detoxing or anything. It's just, sleep off my plane-related sleep debt, and I'm straight back into life.
Indeed. Very good. Good. All right, lovely ones. Don't forget, if you want to find out a bit more about my MAP, my Metabolic Action Plan, a sustainable, easy action-based program, you can just go to our website, rmedicine.com/map.
Wonderful. See you guys.
All right. Bye, lovelies.
The information shared on the Real Health and Weight Loss podcast, including show notes and links, provides general information only. It is not a substitute, nor is it intended to provide individualized medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, nor can it be construed as such. Please consult your doctor for any medical concerns.